Now that free agency has died down quite a bit, the draft is still about a month away. We pretty much know the shape of Baltimore Ravens roster, but there still are some question marks at a few different spots. But what are the Baltimore Ravens' current biggest needs on the team right here, right now? We're getting ready to talk about that shortly. Before we do, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications on and leave a like on the video because y'all been coming through with that a lot. I appreciate y'all. Team Keep It Clean. I love y'all, and let's get into it. So when you think about what the Baltimore Ravens have done thus far in free agency, well, a lot of it was retaining their own guys like a Ronnie Stanley, like a Pat Ricard, like a Tylan Wallace, like a Ben Cleveland, which was a big surprise to me, and I know to a lot of y'all too. And then they added a few outside guys as well, like a DeAndre Hopkins, a Cooper Rush, a Jake Hummel. But they didn't do anything too crazy, but they did quite a bit. And for what they've done thus far, I would say, in my opinion, that it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Nothing too sexy, but it was pretty good. They did upgrade the wide receiver 3 spot. They did upgrade the backup QB spot. They retained a starting left tackle, one of the best left tackles in the league, and Ronnie Stanley, especially when he's healthy, and he was healthy last year, and hopefully he remains to be healthy. So the Ravens did their thing, and then with Pat Ricard, I feel like that was also a no-brainer because why not? You got Derrick Henry. Why not bring somebody back who is helping lead the way for him? But what are their current biggest needs? Well, let's look to this excerpt from The Athletic to see what they had to say, and I think a lot of you might agree. It says, and this was from Jeff Zrebick, said the Baltimore Ravens got a little clarity along their offensive line by re-signing left tackle Ronnie Stanley. They've added a backup quarterback, Cooper Rush, and a third quality wide receiver, DeAndre Hopkins. Boom. But, however, they've done nothing at cornerback beyond losing starter Brandon Stephens in free agency and releasing Arthur Millette. And that's true. We've been wondering, and we've been assuming oh yeah, Ravens gonna add a corner. They're gonna get a veteran cornerback, but we continue to see these corners go. We continue to see these corners get signed. We continue to see these corners get picked up. But when you see the headline, oh, such and such corner is signed, you don't see the Baltimore Ravens team name following that cornerback's name. So the Baltimore Ravens have not made any moves there as of yet. Now, he also said Baltimore has only 4 corners on its roster. Marlon Humphrey, so obviously a starter, and 2024 first-round pick Nate Wiggins are a good duo to start with. Yes, they certainly are. But then when you think about it, after that, it's nothing but question marks. He said, but the Ravens need at least 2 more starting caliber cornerbacks. They can get one in the draft. It's asking a lot to hit on 2 quality rookies ready to play immediately when you have other needs. And that's something that is it's concerning. You know, if it's concerning for us, well, not in years past, but recently, if it's concerning for us, then a lot of times the Ravens feel the same way. We be locked in, all of us. We be locked in with how the Baltimore Ravens are feeling. So I'm surprised that the Ravens haven't addressed it to this point. I wonder if they tried some stuff behind the scenes and it just hasn't quite worked out. I guess we'll see later on. But Marlon Humphrey and Nate Wiggins, yeah. But after that, it's a lot of I don't know. Because it's TJ Tampa, who was a rookie last year, and we just really haven't seen him like that out there on the field. It's also Jalen Armour-Davis, who's been in the game for a little minute, a couple years, but we also really haven't seen him on the field either. So I know a lot of the talk has been, oh, Jair Alexander, get Jair Alexander, trade for Jair Alexander, bring in Jair Alexander. He needs to be a Baltimore Raven. He needs to link back up with Lamar Jackson. I know when that video they showed a couple days ago, they showed Jair Alexander when Lamar Jackson got drafted, how hyped he was, how excited he was for his teammate. He was like, yeah, they was like, oh, yeah, bring him home. Even though this ain't really his home, this will be his new home. Anyway, I get it. Because Jair Alexander, when he plays, he's nice. That boy could play some football, can't he? But he just hasn't really played too much football over the years. And I'm not as in love with the prospect of a Jair Alexander as a lot of Ravens fans are. Now, if we could take a pencil or some white out and erase his injury history, hey, I'd be all for it. No problem at all. But if we can't do that, then, and I've even seen some people say, oh, trade Mark Andrews to the Packers for Jair Alexander. My opinion, I think that would be a terrible trade. It would be a terrible trade. You would be trading and I get it minus the playoff, but you'll be trading a very reliable, a great tight end for a player that could play. He's a baller, but the availability is just not there. It's not. I think that would be a horrible move by the Baltimore Ravens if they were to do something like that. But this is definitely a position of need because, the Ravens, and they got to do it multiple ways. Because like Jeff Rebick mentioned, you could try to draft a couple corners, and you might, but that won't be enough. Are you going to really trust corners to start from jump for you? Baltimore Ravens, nah, that's not really their style. If it's a rookie cornerback, when the last time they started a rookie cornerback from jump? I don't know. Certainly wasn't Nate Wiggins. It wasn't Nate Wiggins because he had to get in the mix a little bit first as a little supplemental guy. And then they end up starting him after a little while. Marlon Humphrey too. They had their starters. Was it Jimmy Smith and Brandon Carr? I think it was those two. Marlon Humphrey didn't start from jump either. It's the same thing. And then the same thing with Jimmy Smith too when they drafted him. So Ravens don't, even though they draft you at first round pick at the cornerback position, and hey, they make some good choices at first round pick for corner. But they don't just throw you in the mix like that. It takes some time. So I do agree that this is definitely one of their biggest needs. But I think that it definitely gets addressed both with free agency for a starter and also with rookies as well for depth. Now, before we continue, I got to give a special shout out to the newest Team Keep It Clean patron, my guy, Warren B. Warren, appreciate you becoming a Team Keep It Clean patron. I wish Warren would have got us started with a question, but it's okay. I'm sure we'll see his questions in future videos. But I appreciate you, Warren. So seriously, thank you. You know those fat wallets that you stick in your back pocket and they make your butt look way bigger than it is? Yeah, that used to be me, but not anymore, because Ridge is changing the game. This wallet feels like it's the size of a credit card. It's so clean and shiny too. With this slim design, it can hold up to 12 cards and cash at the same time. And this is made with premium materials like carbon fiber, aluminum, and titanium. It has over 50 styles and colors to choose from. This brass one is the best, but you got plenty of options to choose from. All Ridge products have a lifetime warranty, so this will be the last wallet that you ever have to buy. And each Ridge wallet is RFID blocking technology. So you know them pickpocketers nowadays are super advanced. Well, Ridge is even more advanced. And if you own a wallet, then I know you got some keys lying around somewhere too. So Ridge came through for you with that as well. The key case. A perfect match. So here comes the question. Ingraven, how can I get my hands on a Ridge wallet? You know that I got you. Right now, Ridge is having their once a year anniversary sale. Get up to 40% off at ridge.com/TKIC. Just head to ridge.com/TKIC to see their biggest sale of the year. After you purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. So now we reach my favorite part of these videos where we get to feature your questions. If you would like to take part in it, you can send an email to teamkeepitclean@gmail.com. And thank you all for sending it to the right email. Or if you would like to join the Team Keep It Clean patrons, you can go to patreon.com/Ingravenvids and you can send your question in a DM directly on Patreon. First question came from the Team Keep It Clean patron, my guy Bill. He said, I know this is old news by now, but I just keep thinking about this. If Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely are going into contract years next year, well, this upcoming season, so this year, but I know that's probably what you meant. Anyway, he said, why would we keep Mark Andrews? Likely is a better playmaker and overall a better tight end. Why not cut Andrews to save money and spread it to other needs for the team? In my opinion, you don't cut Mark Andrews. You don't. If you're gonna trade him, you trade him, but you don't just straight up cut him. Yeah, that could save you some money, but no. Now, I would say, is Isaiah Likely a better tight end than Mark Andrews? I say Mark Andrews is obviously more proven because Mark Andrews gets a lot more opportunity now, and he has gotten a lot more opportunity over the years. Now, it was very, very interesting because, and I know, again, numbers, they don't tell the whole story. I know there's that saying, oh, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Because I think Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely, the difference in their targets from last year is like either 11. Mark Andrews only got 11 more targets than Isaiah Likely, or 16 more targets. It's one of those two numbers. So it ain't nothing too crazy. But their numbers are a lot different. So with Mark Andrews, yeah, you're not gonna just cut a player like that. Like, all right, Mark Andrews, we releasing you. No, because if you do that, you let a team because you already know, like if Mark Andrews got released, the teams that'll probably be knocking on his door ASAP. I mean, a lot of teams would, but probably be the Bills, the Chiefs for sure. The Chiefs, oh yeah, the Chiefs all day, every day. With the Bills, Steelers, even though they got Pat Frymouth, like just a lot of AFC teams that we just have trouble with that are annoying. They would all be knocking on Mark Andrews because they so used to Mark Andrews doing this thing. So yeah, you can't just flat out cut him. But like I said, if you're gonna trade him, all right, you trade him. But now, who knows what's gonna happen with him? That's what I said in yesterday's video and previous videos too. I ain't convinced that he's gonna stay a Baltimore Raven, but every day that he's still a Raven, the percent that I feel like he's gonna remain one, it goes up just a little bit. So again, I think if he's still a Raven like a week after the draft is done, then I'm like, okay, he gonna stay. Next question came from my guy Chase. He said, I've noticed Nick Chubb has been a free agent for a few weeks now, and I would just like to ask your opinion on signing him as a backup to Derrick Henry now that hhis value has dropped and we could probably afford him. Yes, he might not be a need, but it's definitely a working project I would love to see. Oh, that's yeah. You know what, I like you, Chase, because this is something that I know I would do this in Madden. If I had a starting running back, I would get another starting quality running back to be right behind him. They maybe even go for a third, but now the Ravens aren't going to do this. I heard like about a week and a half ago that the Browns were still talking about having a reunion with Nick Chubb. Obviously, it ain't happened yet, but the Ravens, no, I think that they are set with their guys. I mean, it can't hurt to add more, especially because the more you add, they would upgrade the quality that much more. But think about, like, if you had a Derrick Henry, you would have a Justice Hill, and you would have a Nick Chubb and a Keaton Mitchell. Woo! And then you still got Rasheen Ali, but 5 running backs on the roster, you ain't keeping all of them. I mean, last year they did end up, they ended up having 4 at one time, and I was surprised at that. So, I mean, obviously, the odd man out of those 5 would end up being Rasheen Ali, but still, like, Nick Chubb, he probably wouldn't have a place on the team. But then you think about it like this. They got to deal with Derrick Henry for 4 quarters, and he is annoying. He's so annoying for defenses to deal with because you got to tackle Derrick Henry, man. Derrick Henry. And then if they be like, oh, you just finished having to deal with him, we ain't even bringing in a change of pace back. We bringing in another bruising back in Nick Chubb. Oh, that would be nasty, but I mean, you know it ain't gonna go down. Next question came from Harvey. He said T-Mac will be our version of T. Higgins. That wouldn't be bad at all. And he's talking about Tutorial McMillan. Hey, like, no problem with that at all. Like, I would love it, man. And he said, and could the Ravens trade up to get him and keep the 27th pick to get the D tackle from Oregon? So you saying Ravens trade up in the first round to get a T-Mac and they keep their 27th pick? Now, woo, y'all bringing it today. It's not impossible, but it's like literally right next to impossible to keep your first round pick and trade up in the first round to get a T-Mac. Like Ravens would have to be giving up some really, really good players if they would be, because draft picks alone ain't gonna cut it for that. It would have to be players and future first round picks from the next 2 years if you're talking about moving up and still keeping it 27 overall. I love the greed, though. This question came from my guy Bowdogg. He said, hey, Ingraven, do you think that Oweh is like Michael McCrary from the 2001 Super Bowl team as a DN? McCrary was a non-stop, always on the go player on the edge. We'll see. Again, we talked about this in yesterday's video with Oweh. It's exciting to know he's in contract year. So as a football player, you already motivated enough. But then when you really in contract, you're like, hey, this is the year that I really got to show out because I'm really trying to get paid. All the motivation that you already had, it gets multiplied by 5. maybe even 5,000. And in Oweh's case, maybe even 5 million. So he's going to be extra locked in because he knows that his second contract, it depends on this year. It really, really does. If he had a down year, then he can get a second contract, but it ain't going to be so pretty. But if he has a monster year and goes crazy with it, then yeah, he is certainly going to get paid. I mean, either way, he's going to get a significant raise, but you ball out even more, then that raise is even higher. And he put a quote. He said, there comes a time when you have to stop crossing oceans for people when they won't even jump puddles for you. He said, every man dies, but not every man really lives. Bodacious. Next question came from my guy Zach. He said, hope all is well, Ingraven. Hey, everything is good. I appreciate you. How would you feel about a reunion with CJ Mosley? Obviously, it's not the same CJ, but I think he could help out the defense if he stays healthy. If the money's right, I wouldn't mind the move. I wouldn't mind that. Him and Roquan Smith, both, it'll be like having two Roquan Smiths in my opinion. Yeah, obviously CJ has dealt with some injuries recently. But it would be like there will be a lot lifted off his plate. Good tackler, extremely smart player, just like Roquan. He's just like Roquan Smith to me, especially when he was with the Ravens. It's same thing all over again. Not the most explosive. So that's where him and Roquan Smith are also similar. They're not the most explosive players, but extremely smart. So that having all that knowledge on the field, and then around them, and I think about just everybody that would be around them too. They could help make people's job easier. Because I've been sort of back and forth on this one since they are so similar to one another. But you got a Marlon Humphrey over there. You got a Nate Wiggins. You got whoever else our other corner is going to be. You got a super duper Kyle. You're going to have Darius Washington, whatever the other safety is going to be. In front of you, you're going to have Travis Jones, Nnamdi Madubuike, Odafe Oweh in contract year. You're going to have Kyle Vanoy. And then, of course, they're going to add to that as well. So I would not be mad at it. And then, of course, you could bring in some other linebackers on a rotation and whatnot. Bring in other linebackers for different packages and whatnot. You need a linebacker to blitz. All right, hey, you got Trenton Simpson, and then whoever they draft, whoever they sign. You got options there. So I would not be mad if the Baltimore Ravens had a reunion with C.J. Mosley, because as every day that passes, yeah, his price continues to go down. Because not to say his value drops, but especially after the draft. Well, the closer we get to the draft, a lot of these free agents, their value is dropping a bit because there's draft picks. There's a bunch of new players that's getting ready to come in. It's 7 rounds, 32 picks in each round. Then you got undrafted rookie free agents. So that's a lot of players that's getting ready to come into the league. So players that can get these contracts before the draft, it'll be great for them. But players that wait till after, the price is going to be extremely low. So it's good for the teams, for the players, not so much. But yeah, I wouldn't mind a CJ Mosley reunion.